of you are going to need to know how to set up new users, how to set up your AFT accounts, and some other various items that user and network administrators will be able to do within this system. So let's SOAR.
Hi everyone, it's Jenna Grebe. I'm here today to just kind of give you guys a brief introduction to Lebanon for those of you who aren't using us regularly as a go-to market, and as a refresher for those of you who are. Thank you to all of our agents out there. Just a reminder of kind of where Lebanon Valley is coming from. We've decided that we're going to throw our mission up here just quickly so you guys can get that refresher on our grassroots origin. Our focus is we're not an everybody, everywhere, every coverage market, and we know that. Where we try and make a difference within our agents' offices is identify places where there's a need, fill that need, give you guys the best pricing we can to put you in a competitive position with your insureds and give you fair service. So that's pretty much what we're talking about, and our winning strategy has done so in some offices where agents find that niche for us and they feel that we're making that fit within those areas where their other standard markets aren't. So our slogan, our motto that we operate under is that we consider ourselves a market to serve the underserved. We're not always going to be the best price. We're not going to give you a $400 contract or policy, but we can write a lot of those HAB exposures that other markets aren't. And you know, if you guys ever find a coverage need that your other markets aren't meeting, that's where we want to hear from you, and we want to be able to offer you guys a solution-based option. All right, Jenny, I think I need next slide. Oh, okay, there we go. And here's me. I'm Jenna Grebe. I'm here for you guys today. I'm going to be helping Jenny answer any questions that you guys may have. And then Jenny is our IT resource of the day, giving us some of her time to walk us through the new systems so that everybody can see what it's going to bring to the table for us.
In this session, we are going to cover the topics of navigating around the system, managing your organization's users, subscribing to receive commission statements. So let's enter the SOAR environment. When you enter the SOAR environment, you're going to go to the Lebanon Valley website at www.lebins.com. When you're here, most of you have probably come to visit, but you notice that we have a new website that we're super excited about. So when you get ready to log in to the screen, you will need to, my screen dropped for a second. So when you get ready, you'll need to go into agent login. And when you go in,
I just want to say, if anybody's not able to see the new website, if they're still getting some sort of a screen error, it's because of the saved on the old website and a cache issue. So just reach out to your underwriter, let them know if you're experiencing any issues, and we can have our IT department refresh it for you and get it fixed so that you have access to the new site. It's the same web address, but I know we've had a couple of agents that have had issue getting into the new site, so you are not alone. Just let us know. Sorry, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenna. No worries. Thank you, Jenna. So in this new site, we are only introducing SOAR for the dwelling fire product currently. So how you'll enter SOAR is through this link. How you'll enter your current website or your current quoting gate is through this other link. But today we're going to go ahead and launch into SOAR. In SOAR, you can see that you can enter your username and password. You can also change your password. This will look the same for all users that are within the system. So if you know your username or your users know their username, they can change their password here. Or if they happen to forget their password, they can enter their username and send a temporary password to themselves. The temporary password will go to the email that we have on file. If that email is not correct, then maybe you as the administrator will have to go in and work through that with them. So I am actually going to jump to another environment for testing.
Jenny, while you're doing that, we did have a question as to whether or not agents can still get to the LVI website through the TW website. Do you have an answer for that?
I do not, but I can look into that for you.
Okay, Lori, we'll get back to you on that one.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Whoops. So we're going to log in as an administrator, and all of you have access to be set up as the administrator. My computer's taking its good old time today. So what you'll do is when you log in, you'll be able to look at quotes, you'll be able to enter new quotes as well, but today's discussion is about user maintenance and user management. So in your tabs above, you'll see that you have a home section, which brings you back to this home page where your inbox is. This inbox contains your daily tasks or mail that come in through SOAR. And then the quote policy area where you can look up policies, customers, etc. But the unique feature that you have as an admin is called user management. And when you click on user management, you need to select search, and this will populate all the users that are within your office or agency or agencies. For some of you who have multiple to manage, it will populate all of your users that you are able to manage. Each one of you is supplied with a John Doe user. This John Doe user is who we would prefer if you replicate. If you need to replicate another admin user, you would replicate yourself. If you would need to replicate a principal user has a certain feature where they're allowed to subscribe to commissions. So if you are that particular person, then we would also need to know so that we can set that feature for you. But we'll get to the commissions in a minute. But the first thing that you would need to do is obviously you will go to your user management to either add a new user or manage the users that you have. Go to user management and select search. Today we're going to go ahead and click on our John Doe user and add a new user. So we'll click on him. And when we click on him, these are our features, our actions that we're allowed to take to manage a user. We can correct a name or contact information. So you can correct his name, you can correct this, you can correct their email address. This is where you would correct their email address. Anytime there's an asterisk, you will need to put comments in. You can change their producer security. So if you have more than one office, you can add more security. So by adding another agent code in here, you can add that particular office to this user. You can deactivate, which means that this person no longer works with you or at that agency. Or you can disable, which means that they're away for a while, and you can reactivate as well as re-enable. You can also reset their password for them. To add a new user, you will need to clone a user, which is why we provide the John Doe user, because this user is set up how any user besides an admin or a principal will be set up. So you would go in and you would add the new username. This will be the new user code. You'll notice that the asterisks are required information. You will need to set a default provider. If you do not know your default providers, you can select search, and this will bring up all of the providers or the agencies that you have access to. So this particular agent has access to 2 agencies. We are going to go ahead and make this one the default. We're going to go ahead and set a new password for our new user, and we're going to select save.
And just so that, in case that was confusing to any of you, when she was saying that you have access to multiple agencies, this is for any agent out there who has more than one agency code. They might have a different location with a different code, or they may have a book roll code. So Jenny, just to confirm, you can add multiple codes to each producer as the admin sees fit, correct?
That is correct, you can. So in order to do that, the first thing that you have to do is you have to set the default one. So this would be the agency or office that they have access to the most, or that they would want as their default. So let's say I spend most of my time at the North office, I would want my default to be the North office. In order to add more security to myself or change my security, I need to make sure that I go into change provider security. And when I'm in here, even though I set my default, I also have to be sure that I add the provider security. So when I add it, I can click on the button, I can click search, and it will populate all of the agencies that I can have access to. Keep in mind that if you do not add provider security, so this is the second step that you have to take. If you do not add provider security, then the user will not be able to access the system, and they'll get an error message saying that they don't have access to this product or they don't have access to this agency. So please remember to add the provider security in there. Another thing that I do want to mention is that we will be sending out a document that shows a step-by-step process of this so that you can follow along with this like through that guide. But as Jenna said, if you need to add another agent to this user, they can also have access to multiple agents. So when they would get in, their main user, when they log into First Quote, will populate as this defaulted user, but they have the capability of being able to change it to another office if that other office is the writing production office. So we're going to add the user, and we're going to hit save. So we're going to return to our managed list, and this new user should populate in our bin because we have control over that particular person. So here's our new user, and if we needed to, we can go in and change anything that this particular user needs, like the email address, etc., like we had showed in the first segment. So with that, that's how to add a user. Again, we will send out a document for you so that you can see step-by-step how to do this, but we wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity to view it first. The next thing that we're going to talk about is adding an agency sweep account. So in this process, you'll need to go to this same tab at the top, the quote policy. This gives you a feature called My Producer Profile. If you click on My Producer Profile, you'll see that you have the ability to see all of the agents that you have access to. And then you can look at the producer profile for each one of these. And if you scroll down to the accounting information tile, you can see that you can add your trust account. This is where you would add your bank information for agency sweep. So you would complete this information, fill this out, and hit save. The next item that I'm going to show you, I am going to log in as a user who is a principal of the office. Administrators, you will not be able to set this up for them. You will need to contact us if you are the person that needs to be able to sign up for commission statements, and or you will have to let us know which user should be assigned to have commission statements sent to them, because this is a feature that we felt not every user would need to have access to. We set this up so that there is we call them attributes, that there is a particular attribute that this user can have in order to sign up for commissions.
We did receive a question from one of our Lebanon
Sure.
Valley agents asking whether or not a user will still need to be added in both systems. And the answer to that is that that is correct. If you are adding a user in SOAR and it is a new user or a new producer in your office, you will still need to add that person for STAR/SKIPS access until all lines of Lebanon Valley business are onto the new SOAR system. So if anybody has any questions about that, don't hesitate to reach out. But the answer is yes, temporarily. There will be a little bit of duplication because we are running both systems simultaneously.
Thank you. Once the user logs in that has access to subscribe to their commission statements, which they'll receive via email if they choose to do so, they will log in, and in their action items there will be a My Subscriptions area. In My Subscriptions, they will click on that. They will need to add a delivery method, which is email. They will need to provide their email address. That's my real email, so go ahead and email me. And then you will need to have them select their commission statement. You will need to have them schedule it. So if they want this immediately when it's generated, they can have it immediately. Daily is an option. However, commission statements are only populated once a month. Then you will need to have them select their primary delivery method, their primary delivery format, and then the secondary information can be left alone, and then you will need to hit save. Once they've signed up, they will receive their commission statements monthly. So let's say you guys are so ambitious that you get in there and write business this month, but your principal or the user that needs this feature hasn't signed up for the commission statements, they would not receive their October commission statement because they were not logged in and signed up in time. So if they sign up in November, then they should receive their November statement. And if anyone has any questions about statements in the first couple months, please do feel free to call the underwriter or anyone else at Lebanon Valley. They'll be happy to help you. Another item that I want to have us look at is also in the producer profile area, and this can be managed based upon each agency, and this is for our portal. This is where our customers, your customers, can go in and make payments by themselves online. And this actually can be a little bit overwhelming with all of the selections that you have. But let's say, for example, you needed to change a phone number or something about a billing question and who you want to have the billing questions directed to. You could change that phone number that will show on the customer's web page. So right now I'm going to show you how the customers would access the web page through your system. So if you have, oh, I don't know where my Lebanon Valley thing went. Let's go back here. If you have a customer that needs to make a payment, they can make a payment and they'll be directed here to put in their policy number. And if they put in their policy number, they can hit submit, and this will direct them to the new portal where they'll have to register and sign up to make payments online. With that, are there any additional questions or anything else that we can answer for you today? Jenna, do you see any more questions out there?
I did have one question from an agent who is a crossover. They have a Tuscarora Wayne and a Lebanon Valley contract, so it looks like they're already using SOAR, and they may have sweep set up already. It sounds like they're wondering if they have to set up sweep again on the LVI side, or if it will be the same for them.
We did not carry over any account information, so unfortunately they will have to set up the sweep information again. So if they need any help doing that, please let us know. But yes, they will have to set it up because due to encryption purposes and security, we were not able to convert account information over.
Okay, and does that also apply to users then? So if they have users on the TW side, they will also need to be added on the LV side to SOAR?
The users, we brought all of the users over and we assigned them new passwords. So Jason, you should have received an email from him. He's part of our IT department. You should have received an email from him with the usernames and passwords. We really want to thank you for joining us during this presentation. If you have any questions at all, please contact your underwriter at Lebanon Valley. They'll be happy to help you. And we really appreciate all of your time. If there are no other questions.
It looks like we have some additional questions here.
Oh, great.
All right.
Thank you.
It would be helpful to know what tasks we need to repeat in SOAR. So that's going to be a crossover specific question. So let's hang on to that one. The other one, I tried logging in as myself as admin, and it said I have an invalid account or password. Amy, go ahead and email back to Jason, who sent out that information, and tell him that you're having trouble, and he will reach out to you specifically. If anybody's having issues with their login information, the gentleman who sent that out, Jason, would be your primary contact there, or your underwriter. Let's see, I missed the beginning of this webinar. Would you please send me information on the complete? The webinar, I believe, Jenny, I'm correct on saying this was recorded, so if you want to watch it again, you can. And Jenny, did we have any kind of user tips for admins that we have or are going to compile that we can send out to the admin users?
There aren't necessarily user tips. What it is more of like a little manual, and it has the ability, like a table of contents, so it will tell you what page like the certain items are that you're looking for. That will be sent out, yes.
Okay, great. Let me see if there's any other questions here. I know we have that crossover one hanging out. How do I know my
We will have to get back to you. Sorry, Jenna, I didn't mean. We will have to get back to you. I don't have an immediate answer for that.
Okay. All right. How do I know who my LVI underwriter is? I usually go through my TW underwriter, and then she has to contact LVI. It would be easier if I had a direct underwriter with LVI. All right. I'll talk to Lori directly there on that one because I can get that information for her. Okay. Let's see here. Let me just check here one more time, see if we have any more. Okay, and Michelle, I will reach out to you directly with your question on what tasks need to be repeated. And Lori, hang on one sec. I'm going to answer back to you privately, okay? Anybody else with any questions that we need to answer here for you? It was a quick run through. So if anybody has any additional questions on admin features, they can reach out to us directly or their underwriter. We have all the contact information up on the screen here. If you don't know who your underwriter is, go ahead and email me. I'm Jenna Grebe, and I will get you squared away. Any other questions here? All right, Jenny, I think we're good if you want to wrap it.
All right. Well, we really appreciate your time and your attention to this webinar, and we will be sending out some additional information to you, like the handout for the admins, as well as the recording will be attached to an email that you'll receive as well. If you have any other additional questions, please feel free to reach out to your underwriter or anyone at LVI or TW. We will be more than happy to help you, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.